you, Minister, for coming in this evening to talk us through this. I am on the Leinster House campus, just for the record. My question is in relation to B2, so the Sustainable Energy Programmes. And Minister, I just note that in 2019, there was a target of 24,500 and just 23,000 was achieved. I'm just wondering, for 2020, there's a target of 23,200 homes to be to have their energy efficiency improved. I'm just wondering, do you know what the actual outcome is for 2020? I suppose I have concerns because in the programme for government, you're talking about having at least 500,000 homes retrofitted by 2030. And if our annual targets are around the 25,000 per annum mark, we obviously, government will fall far short of what the target is. And I understand that there have been quite significant delays because of COVID, but it seems to me that the programme is finding it difficult to really ramp up. And I'm going to give you an example of a lady in my constituency of Wicklow who applied in April 2020 for the retrofitting scheme. She's a pensioner, and she was finally informed on the 31st of August 2020 that she was eligible for the scheme. Now, this lady hasn't had any surveyor out, and we've been, making contact with SEAI on her behalf. And we've been told that it's going to be 24 months before this lady will even have a surveyor out, never mind actually gets the work done. This pensioner is spending nearly €900. Her electricity bill in February was €900 for her electrical heating, which, here's someone who is really trying to do the right thing and is trying to reduce her energy usage, and she needs to, because just the cost is exorbitant and it's making life very uncomfortable for her. But, she's looking at a 3-year wait before this is done. I'm just wondering, Minister, how you think that the programme will be able to ramp up to ensure that people who are trying to do the right thing will be, that their needs will be met.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Whitmore. I think that's subhead B4, isn't it? On the Sustainable Energy Programmes. So, Minister.
You're right, Deputy Whitmore. There has been a lot of effect of the Warmer Home Scheme and our retrofitting because of COVID last year and this year again. We're hoping, the output in 2020, I understand, was 17,600 homes. We won't know the figures, obviously, this year until we see. I mean, one of the benefits this year compared to any previous year is that we didn't have a stop-start approach. So what we did last summer in the economic stimulus, giving a clear signal to the industry that we were going to run right through the winter and into the new year. So there wouldn't be, traditionally there was always a gap and you'd have to wait and know what your budget allocation is and then you start again. And that was a very ineffective stop-start approach. This year was the first time we were due to be running right the way through. And there was, up until the lockdown, and every indication it was really taking off. The huge amount of interest, applications, building industry starting to really scale up to this new opportunity. Obviously, construction was halted because of the lockdowns. It has only just started again. And hopefully the COVID effect this year will see us closer to meeting our target. One of the details you say about the warmer home schemes, it is, I presume that lady is on the warmer home schemes, that she's in kind of one of the low-income categories that allow for the full 100% grant approval. And one of the reasons is for the delay is because there's been a huge increase, as you can expect, in demand for that programme, because it's very attractive in loads of different ways. It helps us tackle fuel poverty. It's huge health benefits. It's a really excellent programme, but such is the demand that there is now a significant backlog, and that will be made worse by the likes of the COVID effect in terms of us not having work. One of the other ways we're increasing delivery capacity is having a wider contractor panel, which commenced at the end of last year. and also the additional resources we provided to SEAI in their capacity. I think it's an additional 50 full-time staff to give them the capability of turning things around quicker. So there's a variety of measures. Can I say, just on the wider perspective, on the 10-year perspective, it was always understood, and the Joint Talks Committee previously recognised that it was going to take us a number of years to build up to 50,000 houses a year. In fact, what we'll need to do towards the latter part of this decade is have higher numbers than that to meet the average over, 500,000 over a decade. One of the key measures to introduce that will be putting in new financial support so that the houses in the private sector are able to get really low-cost lending, and that's one of the initiatives we're working on at the moment. It's not in this estimates, but it'll be one of the other ways in which we look to ramp up. And then the last thing I'd mention, and Minister Simon Harris's responsibility for this, is also ramping up of the apprenticeships programs, because that's going to be one of the other big constraints, is getting the workers. That actually before COVID was going to be the biggest obstacle. I think we'll have less of it's a changed issue now because such a large long-term unemployment coming out of the COVID crisis. But what we do need is a massive expansion in apprenticeships. We need, I think, something like 30,000 new workers in this area to meet our targets, not just in homes, but in government buildings, in commercial property. So those four mechanisms, consistent funding, increased resources in SEAI, broader contractor base, increased apprenticeships in this area, make me confident we can, low-cost financing options. Those sort of measures make me confident we will meet our targets in the end.
Thank you, Minister. And Deputy O'Rourke, is it also on Programme B?
Yeah, please.